Good day, I'm Askar Sharlief with the latest news from Kazakhstan. A body of one of the workers buried under the rubble of the Kozimbaev mine was found on Friday. The tragedy happened as a result of an explosion allegedly caused by a methane gas leak. The body of another worker, the 27-year-old Marat Onbaev, is still missing.
The body of the 50-year-old miner Serek Jumashov was retrieved from under the rubble one day after the accident at the ArcelorMittal Temirtau mine. Last time the family saw him alive before the shift on Wednesday. Now they have their last goodbyes. 168 miners were evacuated after the accident. Along with Jumashov, a 27-year-old Marat Onbaev disappeared under the rubble, and his body has not been found yet.
As of now, we have cleared about 31 meters of the mine entrance and the search operations are still underway. A special commission will investigate the causes of the accident. On May 15, 2010, 164 people were evacuated from the Kozimbaev mine.
Just a month ago, the methane leak was registered in the same mine, recalled public activist Natalia Tamilova. The explosion was avoided and people were evacuated on time. However, no safety measures were taken since then. Natalia says that this happens because no employer was even prosecuted for people's death.
ArcelorMittal doesn't care about the people's lives. We can only make these conclusions because they don't seem to learn any lesson from tragedies like these.
Miner Sergei Moskalyuk found himself in a similar accident in Tentek pit last year. 3 people died then as a result of the explosion caused by a methane leak. Moskalyuk survived but became disabled. The company did not compensate the worker for his injuries.
Upon exiting the pit, we didn't receive any medical treatment, even though the management knew about our complaints. They just instructed us to go home. Then the condition worsened.
The emergency department assures that the methane leaked a month ago could not possibly cause the recent accident because it occurred in a different mine. According to latest estimates, the total weight of the rubble left after the explosion is more than 500 tons of rock.
The outbreak of Crimean hemorrhagic fever has spread across the South Kazakhstan region. The regional branches of state sanitary authorities confirmed 4 cases of the infection amongst the population of Kazagurt, Saragash and Ordabas areas.
Since the beginning of the year, 15 residents of the South Kazakhstan region have been diagnosed with CHF. 3 died. More than 11,000 people with tick bites sought medical help, with ticks being main transmitters of the Crimean hemorrhagic fever. 3 doctors of the maternity hospital died during the last year's outbreak of the disease in the South Kazakhstan region and were posthumously awarded for their courage. The new victims are currently undergoing intensive therapy. Both patients were in critical condition with severe hemorrhagic syndromes, bruises all over their bodies, gastrointestinal and nasal bleedings and consciousness disorders. The condition has stabilized and one of the men was transferred to a general ward.
On Friday, the Pavlodar's infectious disease hospital discharged 5 people who had contacts with anthrax patients, reports news agency Kaztek. At the moment, 4 others remain in the hospital and are gradually recovering.
The infection disease hospital denied the information about the admission of new patients diagnosed with anthrax. On Friday morning, the Emergency Ministry of Kazakhstan reported that 10 residents of the Zholkuduk village were allegedly hospitalized. 6 of them had the diagnosis confirmed and 2 died. In the meantime, local residents reported that the real death toll is twice as higher as the official statistics. According to the Regional Department of Sanitary Inspection, there are currently 119 people thought to have had contact with the infection.
A Kazakhstan pensioner attempted to reach the country's highest healthcare authority. Bakesh Japashov came to the capital to personally see Healthcare Minister Jaksılık Doskaliyev and complain to him about medical workers in Almaty hospitals.
It was very hard for the Almaty resident Bakesh Japashov to set up a meeting with the Kazakh healthcare minister Jaksılık Doskaliyev. Out of desperation, the pensioner and his friend Yuri Ogay decided to picket the ministry. Unfortunately, the police didn't allow the protesters inside and told them to solve all their issues at the pass office. The healthcare authorities are very corrupted. Their representatives take bribes from everybody. There are numerous cases when lab examinations conducted by professionals are ignored, and instead patients are issued with made-up conclusions that resulted from 3-minute checkups. The 2 men spent almost the entire day in front of the ministry but never saw the head of the department. Despite this failure, Bakesh Japashov is not going to give up and still wants to meet the country's chief physician.
On the eve of the press day, the staff of the state news agency Kazakhstan organized a strike demanding to pay the payments of debts on wages. The journalists have not received their salaries for already 3 months.
In the end of February, the Kazakhstan staff has already appealed to Prime Minister Karim Masimov through his website, complaining about the regular delay of salary payments. The staff of the state news agency asked the cabinet head to take this issue under his personal control and launch corresponding inspections of the company's financing activities. No reaction, however, followed. Kazakhstan is the oldest state news agency in Kazakhstan, being the successor of the Orenburg and Turgaysk branches of the Rost agency, established in 1920. Since morning, we haven't had any news submitted by Astana's journalists. They are hunger striking, and on the eve of the press day, they don't even have money to pay for transport. Many have outstanding loans, and the banks of credit union people try to reach them through SMS and phone calls, as they can't pay the debts. This is a really unpleasant situation.
Residents of the southern city of Shymkent are worried about the quality of their housing. Almost 20,000 people are risking their lives living in apartment blocks that do not comply with safety standards.
Beware the state housing. Shymkent resident Aybos Krimkulov can easily disassemble his own apartment he received through the housing program 2 years ago. The apartment is already in emergency condition.
We have appealed to different organizations and were told once that not much should be expected from a $350 a month apartment.
Residents recall that immediately after the housewarming, the apartment block was flooded by rainwater. Other construction shortcomings emerged later.
The walls are terrible. Everything has to be filed with gypsum plasterboards. Normally people move in and only have to change the wallpapers, whereas we do not even have normal toilet bowls.
The multiple complaints of the residents forced the prosecutors to conduct an inspection. The commission concluded that the house was simply incomplete.
During the preliminary inspection, it was revealed that there are deviations in the construction documents and some of the works were not completed.
The general contractor was accused of negligence. The overall damage to the budget was estimated at $26,500. In response, the construction committee says it's not always possible to detect all shortcomings.
Sometimes poor quality works are detected within 2 years.
In the course of 10 days, the contractor has to eliminate all the defects. The work will be evaluated again by the same department. Meanwhile, the prosecutors revealed that there are 40 other blocks of questionable quality in the micro-district Nursat, which houses around 20,000 people.
Foreign citizen Idrissa Traoré has encountered the arbitrariness of the domestic law enforcement agents and consequently sued the migration police officers. The process continues for already several weeks, and the hearing on Friday was postponed yet again.
The citizen of African Mali, Idrissa Traoré, is suing the migration police of the Almaty's Internal Affairs Department. The trial over his case was held on Friday in the Almaty District Court, where the foreign citizen tried to prove the police arbitrariness.
The police just wanted a bribe for nothing, but I insisted on the legal way, so they came up with residence issues. However, according to law, a person who has a residence permit has the same rights as permanent residents. Thus, I have the same rights as you do.
The hearing started with a violation of regulations as the judge attempted to prevent the press from covering the trial. Evidently, the authorities had a reason to fear the publicity because it seems that migration officers who were respondents in the case actually attacked Traoré, explaining him what he did wrong. Judge Sadikov allowed this to continue without interrupting.
We must know where you reside. During the last hearing, I told you that the Almaty's Internal Affairs Department has registered 181 foreign citizens who are in search now.
Lawyer Victoria Yulenova noted that this is the first case in her memory when a foreign citizen is trying to fight against the system.
The current lawsuit has indeed nothing to do with what the migration police are trying to prove, whether or not a foreigner should be registered at one address or live in some other places, etc. It is actually a suit that the police will not get away with violating the laws.
The hearing was postponed for 2 weeks. Unlike the lawyer, Idrissa Traoré, who lives in Kazakhstan for already 20 years, still believes in the fairness of Kazakh's justice system.